heat of the day was just starting to die down as Babatunde opened the creaky doors of his aging Toyota Corolla. He rubbed his palms together, spat lightly to the side, and muttered his usual prayer before starting the engine. At 58, Babatunde had become more than just a taxi driver in Lagos. He was an observer, a listener, a confessor, a man who had learned that people often revealed more to a driver than they did to their priest. His daughter, Morayo, always nagged him to retire. "Papa, you are too old to be driving at night. These Lagos boys, they are not safe." But retirement for Babatunde felt like waiting for death, so he kept the wheels turning. The night ahead was unpredictable, but if there was a certainty in Lagos, it was that everyone had something to hide. The yellow street lights cast long shadows as Babatunde pulled up near an upscale Pentecostal church around 8:30 p.m. A well-dressed man in flowering agbada, clutching an expensive iPad, climbed in with an air of authority. "Obalande," the man said curtly, barely looking up. He introduced himself as Pastor Amos. His expensive perfume filled the car, a cloud of prestige and piety. He looked like success personified, smooth skin, gleaming gold ring, confident smile that had likely convinced hundreds to empty their pockets for blessings. Then the phone rang. "Yes, baby, I'm in the car now." His voice dropped to a whisper. "No, she doesn't know. The board is still funding the trip." "Yes, I'll come to the flat after the vigil." Babatunde glanced at him through the rearview mirror, their eyes meeting for a fraction too long. Pastor Amos ended the call and noticed the look. He straightened his agbada. "Driver, sometimes to do the Lord's work, you must blend with sinners. You understand?" Babatunde gave a non-committal nod. He had heard it all before. Preachers, politicians, lovers, they all had excuses for their darkness. They stopped outside a boutique hotel with discreet lighting and an unmarked entrance. The pastor dropped a crisp 1,000 naira note. "Pray for me," he said with a knowing smirk. "I pray for all my passengers," Babatunde replied evenly. As he drove off, he muttered under his breath, "Even Judas probably wore agbada the night he betrayed Christ." Rain started to drizzle around 10 p.m., turning the neon signs and headlights into blurry halos against the night sky. A figure in white flagged him down under a flickering street lamp in Maryland. It was a woman, a bride, makeup running in dark rivulets down her cheeks, wedding dress drenched and muddied at the hem, heels clutched desperately in hand. She jumped into the back seat with the frantic energy of someone being pursued. "Please, Surulere, fast." Her voice was still wrapped in silk, determined yet fragile. As they pulled away, she watched the road behind them through the rear window. Her name was Kehinde. She had just walked out of her wedding reception. "My father sold me," she said bitterly, twisting the new gold band on her finger before roughly pulling it off. "To a man with 3 kids and a swollen bank account. I didn't even say I do, I just ran. Babatunde offered a bottle of water. She took it gratefully, her hands trembling. I was a top student in school, dreamt of studying architecture in the UK. But no, my womb and skin color are more important than my dreams. Thunder cracked outside as they crossed into Surulere. The rain seemed to wash away her bridal persona with each passing minute. When they reached her destination, a modest apartment complex, she turned to him with eyes clearer than when she entered. "Thank you, driver. Tonight you helped a woman escape her funeral." She stepped out and walked into the night, her white dress a ghostly apparition against the darkness. Her wedding veil remained on the back seat. Babatunde picked it up and folded it carefully, as if handling a fallen flag. The affluent street of Lekki glistened with recent rain as the clock passed midnight. A young man stumbled out of a club, waving frantically at Babatunde's taxi. He was young, maybe 21. Designer hoodie worth more than Babatunde's monthly earnings. iPhone 14 Pro held like a talisman, and a breath that reeked of Hennessy and privilege. Allen Avenue, he slurred, collapsing into the back seat. As they drove past the mansions and high-rises, the young man, Dimeji, began talking, unprovoked, words tumbling out as if seeking absolution. "You know, I just scammed one woman, Canadian, a widow, sent me 5,000 thinking I was a soldier in Syria." Babatunde stayed silent, eyes on the road. "But tonight I felt sick." She sent pictures of her kids. His voice cracked. She said she prayed for me, said her dead husband would be proud of helping someone in need. There was a long pause, filled only with the swish of tires on wet asphalt. "Is it wrong if I use the money to fix my mother's house? Does it cancel out the evil?" Babatunde looked at him through the mirror. The boy's face was illuminated briefly by passing streetlights. Young, handsome, haunted. When you steal with one hand and give with the other, the soul stays empty. No reply, just silence till they reached Allen Avenue, where the night had only just begun for most. Dimeji dropped some cash and stepped out, shoulders hunched against an invisible weight. Before closing the door, he hesitated. "Driver, do you think God forgives people like me?" But he didn't wait for an answer. Babatunde sat still for a minute after he left. He had seen many criminals, but it was the guilty ones that stayed with him. At 1:22 a.m., the hospital emergency entrance at Bagada General Hospital was ablaze with fluorescent lights. A tired woman in wrinkled scrubs flagged him down. She had deep bags under her eyes and hands that couldn't stop fidgeting. "Ojota, but please take the long way. I just need to breathe." Her name was Temi, a nurse coming off a 12-hour shift. As they drove through the quieter streets, she opened up like a wound. "Treated a boy tonight, 8 years old. He got starved over 500 naira, just selling water." Her voice was monotone, as if reciting facts that would keep the emotions at bay. She paused and slowly pulled down her collar, revealing a deep purplish bruise on her neck. "My husband did this yesterday, said I care more about patience than him." Her voice cracked then, the professional facade crumbling. Babatunde said nothing, just drove, giving her the space that her life had denied her. Then he said softly, "I lost my wife to cancer. She never told me until it was too late, though she was sparing me the pain." Temi wept quietly, the sound mixing with the gentle hum of the engine. When they reached Ojota, she turned to him with red-rimmed eyes. "You are the first person I've told." He smiled faintly. Sometimes it takes a stranger to carry a wound without judgment. She nodded, paid, and stepped out, a little straighter than she had entered. The last fare of the night stood by a rundown junction in Obalende at 3:03 a.m. Half hidden in the shadows, Babatunde almost drove past. Hoodie, dreadlocks, backpack slung over one shoulder. Mainland, wherever there is cheap hotels. The voice was young but withered, like stone eroded by harsh rains, as they drove through the empty streets of Lagos. Babatunde felt an unsettling familiarity. The boy began talking, staring out the window. "My old man used to drive taxis. Disappeared after my mom died. Left me with my uncle. Never called, never wrote." Babatunde's fingers gripped the wheel tighter, knuckles whitening. Name was Tunde too. Think he was scared of becoming the man he saw in the mirror. The boy laughed dryly, a sound devoid of humor. "My name is Ayo. Maybe one day I'll drive too. But I won't run." They locked eyes in the mirror, and in that moment, time collapsed. "Ayo," Babatunde whispered, his voice barely audible. "It's me. I'm your father." The silence that followed was thunderous, filled with 12 years of absence. Ayo's face hardened, transforming from shock to stone. 12 years, not a letter, not a call, and you think a taxi ride is enough? Before Babatunde could respond, Ayo pulled the door handle. "Stop the car. Son, please. Stop the car." He opened the door and walked out mid-traffic, disappearing into the labyrinth of Lagos streets. Babatunde sat motionless, the taxi idling. His hands trembled, his heart burned with the fires of regret. The orange hue of dawn bathed the roads in gentle light as Babatunde parked by his compound at 5:10 a.m., engine still running. The back seat was empty, but its soul was crowded with secrets, cries, bruises, and regrets. The night had been a journey through the hidden Lagos, the city beneath the city. He looked into his rearview mirror, not just at his face, lined and weary, but at the man behind the wheel. He wasn't just a driver, he was a priest without a pulpit, a counselor with no degree, a witness to 1,000 small tragedies, a father who listened too late. And yet he had given something to every passenger: silence, comfort, truth. He stepped out and looked up as the morning call to prayer echoed from the mosque nearby, mingling with distant church bells and the first bird song. He whispered, "God, forgive me for the rites I missed. and thank you for the ones I didn't. In Lagos, every street tells a story, but inside a taxi, the stories become confessions. Babatunde wasn't just a driver. He was a vessel for the broken, the guilty, the lost. And while he couldn't change their past, he offered what the city rarely gives: a listening ear and a quiet seat for the soul to rest. Just another night shift in Lagos, where everyone is traveling somewhere, but few know where they are truly going.
Please subscribe to watch more of our videos. Thank you.